Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, AJ, Blaze coming to you live as the Avs drop this one 7-5 to the New Jersey Devils. That's a lot of goals. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be in 60 seconds, but I guess I can run this thing down.
Have fun.
So the game started 5-1.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot of clumping together. So New Jersey scored 3 goals in the first 12 minutes. The Avs just looked all out of sorts at that point. The Avs do get one back with the McKinnon one-timer at the end of the first period to make it 3-1. But to be honest, the game looked over as New Jersey scores pretty early in the second. And then again, it ends up to a 5-1 score, followed by the Avs scoring 3 unanswered goals. Goaltending and defense was just entirely optional for significant portions of this game, which got you to 5-4. New Jersey makes it 6-4 towards the end of the second period. Avs push back, make it 6-5 early in the third, but ultimately can't get over the hump and get that final goal as it ends up being 7-5 with the empty netter for New Jersey. After Vitek Vanacek was pulled after the 5th goal, Akira Schmid comes in for New Jersey, doesn't give up a single one. There are also multiple challenges and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm sure we'll get into when we actually start talking about this game.
It was the dropping I was more worried about.
Look, let's start here. How much of tonight is a night where you just chalk this one up to the Avs clearly didn't have it tonight and throw it in the bin? And how much of this is the Avs let an opportunity get away from them here?
I kind of want to say both.
I hear where you're coming from.
Like, when it was 5-1, it was definitely that first one. But when it's 6-5, 3 minutes.
Yeah, 17, 16 minutes left in the
3
third,
minutes into the third period, and you go on your only power play of the game, and your power play is that bad.
Yeah.
It definitely feels at that point like you let it get away from you.
You mean when it takes away momentum from what they're doing?
Right, right. And that's where I think it starts. It starts definitely in column A. It's a brutal start, man. And look, I know that there are people out there that will, but I don't know how in the world you think that Justus Annunen could not have anything to do with all 6 goals. The goaltender wasn't nearly good enough tonight. The defense in front of him
was also atrocious.
Set him up for massive struggles.
Even this
early
one,
on.
Even this one, like Justus probably doesn't get back anyway, but he's 8 miles out of his net on a puck that comes across.
Well, replay of the third goal
too.
They did. I mean, there was a little bit of luck on each side. You know, we saw
New Jersey's 5th goal. Yeah. Puck comes right out into the slot. For him.
And you see the Avs get away with a high stick right before their 5th goal.
Yep.
You know, when the McKinnon stick or McKinnon's one-timer gets
deflected off the forward in front of
off
him.
of a Devils player.
And McLeod was in the way.
And goes in.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of luck going either way, which in the NHL to create a 12-goal game, certainly some of them are going to be a little wonky.
The imbalance in this game was not in that category for Colorado, certainly. This is a grave of their own making.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just really, really difficult when you put yourself down 3, 12 minutes into a hockey game.
Yeah, and you're disappointed. You know, we haven't really seen like a really slow start out of them in a while. They've been jumping on teams.
Yep.
But I think where I'm encouraged is that the 2 really slow starts, Edmonton and this game,
both turned into games eventually.
Right. Neither one of them. Both looked like they had gotten away from the Avalanche, and both became games.
Yep.
And for me, I find some encouragement in that because earlier in the season, we weren't seeing pushback like that. We weren't seeing them make games of it. You know, they might have made it from 3-1. They might, or from 3-0. They might have made it 3-1, maybe 3-2, but it would have ended
spiraling out.
It would have ended there without much more, and I'm just not super bothered by it tonight.
Yeah,
they were due for a poor performance. They got one, and they almost survived it.
They nearly pulled it back anyway. And look, I think there's a reality here. The Colorado Avalanche made the decision to start Justus Annunen tonight.
And let's talk about this because I see a lot of the Bednar's an idiot for starting Annunen. I think we all understood why.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as we saw that news, it was all about the Avs have
gets
said
both on the back-to-back.
the Avs have gone in tonight's game saying, whatever happens.
Yep.
Let's get out of it healthy. Let's try and win it, obviously, but let's get out of it healthy. And then we are going to put our goaltender, who has been an upper echelon goaltender for the last 2 months, into both back-to-backs against Western Conference
Dallas.
teams. Yeah, the team that they are chasing for the division
Direct
title.
competition.
Yeah. And then a Kraken team that, look, if they beat that's a team that,
Yep.
Right
they're
there on the bubble.
right. And we are having the conversation once again about, look, the Avalanche have now put themselves in the position to chase the top seed, to chase home ice throughout the playoffs, and winning games against Western Conference teams gonna be more important.
Yep.
And certainly,
And that was the decision for Annunen to play tonight.
on top of that, knowing that Annunen is a little bit of an unknown quantity in the NHL, knowing that a game like tonight could be a possibility, you don't care at all if New Jersey gets 2 points.
No.
Obviously,
It does. I mean, you care that you don't get them,
but the fact that it's New Jersey getting them doesn't matter.
does not. You doesn't even. It's not even on your radar.
Yep.
Oh, the Devils sweep you this year.
Yeah.
Cool.
And look, is there a world where the Avs could have started Georgiev all 3 of these games? Sure. You're also staring in front of you at a month where you get these coming up 2 days off, and then you don't get 2 days off in a row for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
So you got to find rest for a guy somewhere.
Right. And they said, hey, this is where we're putting him. And that's a tough spot. When you're talking about how teams treat backup goaltenders, usually it's not like that.
They usually get the easy teams.
Yeah. But there's not an obvious spot on the schedule other than now. Tonight made sense.
Yep.
Tonight, to me, I thought it made sense.
It was a sacrifice to the Devils.
Yeah.
Basically, is what. No, I mean, like when you saw Bednar saying that he was going to play, you're going to play your backup goaltender. What that does in the locker room too, right? Like they're humans. It's just like, all right, this is almost a scheduled loss now.
Yeah.
Well,
And you kind of see what happens. I mean, it was bad play to come out of the first. I think this game's maybe Avs win if you just take the first away. It was so bad.
You never know, but certainly throughout the night, the Avs' execution and I don't want to say effort because I do think they tried, but they just weren't winning the puck battles.
Yeah.
Whether it wasn't going their way or they were doing the wrong things or whatever, just a lot of the things they were doing tonight did not work because they didn't do them well enough.
Yeah, the passing was horrendous too in the first.
I mean, I say that even knowing like they come back in this game because of a 2-minute stretch where they get insane hockey gets played and at least one really soft goal from Vita. I can say his name, Vanacek. But throughout the game, there wasn't ever really a consistent stretch where it felt like, okay, Colorado is playing well here with the puck. And I don't, that just doesn't bother me that much. Some nights things aren't clicking. Sometimes it's not coming together for you.
Man.
If you keep that to one night, no big deal.
Yeah, if they go back and I mean we're talking they were coming off that crazy stretch of back-to-backs.
Yep.
Where we were preparing for like, hey, this could be kind of a rough stretch of results given the situation and the quality of teams, but I mean it's a good hockey team tonight, but I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed how they started the game. I liked how they finished. They tried. I mean, it was,
3 goals is just a really hard hole to dig yourself out of.
Well, and
which becomes 5 goals,
right?
Really quick.
You get down 5-1, and for the record, people asking why not start Keith Kincaid. I think just Annunen's last start was good,
Yep.
and so they just said, Okay, we'll give
Go
him
do it
another
again.
one.
Yeah.
And he got rocked, and I would be willing to bet you that they probably swap those guys out now.
I mean, this is stuff like that makes sense to me because you're saying, hey, he played a good game. Let's give him another one. Let's see if the rookie is ready to maybe start taking that next step.
Yeah.
We got a pretty definitive no.
Yeah.
And now they can move on to Kincaid or whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I just don't really, I think I was busy today with the Lars Eller thing.
Yep.
But I didn't really see a whole lot of hand-wringing about Annunen until he gave up 6 goals.
Agree.
And, every game matters. All the points are important, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But, I guess I just don't feel really, it made sense to me. So,
Agree.
yeah, I'm just not really pressed by it. And just kind of the whirlwind of the day. Lars Eller shows up in warm-ups. Like, he's had a crazy day, and then literally his first shift, like, you have a miscommunication with a defenseman that maybe you've never even met before. Like,
Not a shocking turn of events there. Yeah.
It was just it was a bummer.
I mean, are you at all scared of the Devils if you have Georgiev in net and Makar playing defense?
And
From what you
Landeskog
saw-
in your lineup? No.
It's not that I would be or wouldn't be scared of them. I'm not going to think about them again unless they're playing the Avs in the Cup finals.
Well, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I just that's late June's problem. Like, the Avs don't play them again until then if they have to at all.
Yeah.
So it's just not something I'm going to really think about much.
Yeah.
You get through this game. I will give credit here. It seems like whatever the situation for the Avs, the guy who's always leading the charge, whether it be to get out ahead or to get back into a game, is Nathan MacKinnon.
Mikko Rantanen's been awesome this year,
Hard agree.
as evidenced by the career year that he's on his way to having. And, we see a little bit of that in this game as well.
Yep.
But it really is different with Nate this year. It really does feel like it's at a higher level than it has been.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder, like, how much higher does it go? Like,
Where's
where's
the ceiling?
Like, is there a next step here? Because I don't know. He's just been great.
Well,
we were
it's-
talking in the game too, right? Like you can see it on his face.
Yeah.
Like, this game is zany, right? And he's out there.
Thriving.
Oh, he wants to go, and he's going hard. Like, you got to respect that. That's why he is great, because it doesn't matter the situation. He's going 100% out there.
And there was never any doubt that Nathan MacKinnon was a great, one of the best in the world hockey players.
Yeah.
But I think especially after last year and through some of the previous seasons, Nathan MacKinnon got this a little bit of a thing trailing him around where he's kind of a hothead. He's throwing sticks into the stands during practices and stuff. And at times people are like, oh, but Angry Mac's good. Angry Mac plays really good hockey. You've seen a little bit more maturity out of him this year where he's channeling that not only into raising his own play, but telling the team kind of, hey, follow me. This is how we're going to do this and get this done.
Yeah, I think he might be learning that the more vocal he is, the less effective it is.
Yeah.
And the more he just goes out there and puts his stamp on a game, the more the team gets behind him.
Yeah.
Because they don't have their captain in the lineup.
It's true.
And he is that guy in game that you look to. And now it is, McKinnon has a permanent A on his chest for a reason. You want him to be stepping up and helping with that. But I do think that he is. I do think it does look different this year, that it's channeled a little more appropriately.
Yep.
And because earlier in the year we were seeing there was a real struggle there. And
sure.
in the last couple of months, one of the major turnarounds in Colorado for Colorado as a team getting the results that they want has been McKinnon has been very different. in terms of just raising his game.
Yep.
And not
out
leaning into some of the self-defeating stuff.
Getting
quite
it
as
done
much.
when it needs to get done and not complaining when things don't go your way.
Are
Yeah.
you saying Max, like, is he dad? Is he dad on the team?
Mac Daddy, perhaps?
No.
No?
No.
I mean,
No.
Mikko certainly isn't the dad.
Just
Yeah.
like, when dads are upset and they don't say anything, and then you're like, oh, I better.
Yeah, that's the
better-
worst.
I have
straight.
disappointed Nate.
I feel like Bednar just covers that enough by
That's-
himself.
Silver
If
Fox.
Bedsy walks into the room and doesn't say anything, just looks at you, you're like, oh, shit. On that note, we are brought to you by Jive Hive. You can get your weed delivered to you today. Go to jivehive.com. That's JIVEYHYVE.com. You can get it right away if you want to order it ASAP, or you can schedule a delivery for the future. Either way, if you know something's coming up, you can have it delivered right to your door and be good to go. Obviously, the best part is you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go into a dispensary or anything like that. It just comes straight to you. If you're an introvert like me, you don't have to talk to anybody. You just get what you want, and you get it right at your front door. So it's super easy to do like that. They have great convenience and pricing for what they do as well. You can check them out today. They do only deliver to certain areas, now serving Aurora, Greenwood Village, Monument, Fountain, and various areas of El Paso County. If you're not sure, you can enter your address on their website, and they will let you know where you can get it. Just visit jivehive.com. That's JIVEHYVE.com and get your order delivered whenever you need it. Also brought to you by Breckenridge Brewery. If weed's not your thing, maybe you like alcohol, If you don't like either, totally respect it. Whatever floats your boat. But for Breck Brew, you can get yours down here at the bar with 8 different kinds on tap, or at your local liquor store. They're now in all 50 U.S. states. I think someone was telling me they got some in Canada the other day, but I don't know how reliable that is. Don't know if you can really get it up there in Canada yet, but either way, Breck Brew.
Oh, I've not found it yet.
All right. So,
But I haven't frequented the LCs up there as much. So
yeah, I don't.
I should say I go to the same one. So
You've got one on your list.
well, it's like by the house. And
Sure,
it's
I mean,
in
it
an
makes
easy
sense.
shopping
It
center.
makes
it's
sense.
like, yeah.
Either way, get your Breck Brew. Go to breckbrew.com. Use their beer locator online to find it near you. And if you didn't get in on the Breck Brew Ultimate Fan Experience, it's too late. So sucks for you. But we are announcing the winner of that tomorrow. So be sure to keep that thing tuned in on Twitter at DNVR Avalanche. The winner will be announced tomorrow for the pair of tickets in row 5, the parking pass, the Club Lexus access, and 2 DNVR shirts. It's kind of a sweet deal. If you do want to get in on the Nuggets one, you can still get in on the Nuggets one. That one's still an option. So go check it out. Go next time, be ready for the Breck Brew Fan Experience and get your chance to win. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to take us a little bit out of order here, but appropriate amount of weirdness for this game. There were 2 challenges in this game. One of them I thought made a lot of sense and ended up being wrong. One of them I thought was really dumb and ended up being wrong. One, do we have any issues with Jared Bednar? I know Blaze and I kind of talked about this on the watch along, but AJ, did you like that challenge or not mind it from Bednar after it was 2-0?
I thought game situation, it just given how they looked, I didn't mind them giving it a whirl. I understand why it wasn't, and it was what we thought.
Yeah.
We predicted that it was not gonna
Go their
not
way.
gonna get
Yeah.
overturned, but I also think at the same time, like it's still such a hazy area
Yeah.
that I didn't mind it.
Okay.
The other one though,
Yeah, that one just seemed. I don't know what Lindy Ruff is looking at.
And they
on
had
that
extra
one.
time, too, because they were
They pulled their goalie. Yeah.
And they still went with it.
can we talk about that part of it?
Yeah, sure.
Because if you're a team that's like in the postseason and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, this is a really, really close call, and you're trying to buy extra time, why not just pull your goalie?
So here's.
Can you put your because you can
That's
put your goalie
my
right back.
my assumption is if you did that, the first time someone does that, they'd probably get away with it.
Yeah.
And then the NHL would see that and go, okay, if you do this and you put your goalie back in, we're giving you a delay of game.
Well, you'd have,
Well,
so
and
you'd
that's
have to play
where-
a shift or something, right?
that's where he fakes, you fake a skate problem. He goes into the back, he gets
my
the skate
God.
fixed. You know, you do. You know, instead of just John Cooper, you know, just getting a free pass in the Cup final last year.
Certainly better than just giving a dude 90 seconds. That's for sure.
And sounds like the Ducks movie all of a sudden.
Are you going to challenge? Are you going to challenge? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Right now, yes or no?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Like, are you talking to a dog? Like, I'll never forget that.
Well, so
I just thought while we were, they happened at the same time, I was sitting there wondering, like, how much extra time did they get because they were waiting for the goaltender to switch out and get his gear on and whatever. And like in the future, couldn't you just use that as a loophole?
I mean, they could just pull that, like, you only got 30 seconds, right? So, like, you try to challenge it, and I go, too late, bud.
Yeah, look, if that's what it takes to get the NHL to actually enforce the 30-second rule, I'm here for
They need to put a clock behind the goaltender. And once that happens, it needs to start running.
And if
like a shot clock?
give the coaches a flag. If the flag isn't touching the ice by the time it hits 0.
Yeah. Nobody's pulling it out of his pocket. Bill Belichick keeps it in his shoe.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to reach for his shoe, you know?
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I just thought it was like one of those little things in the game where I was like, if I was a head coach, I would be filing this away.
Jot that one down for
I would
later.
be filing this away for a future game situation to be like, hey, we want to take 2 more looks at this to see if this is offside or not or whatever, and be like, okay, I'm gonna pull this shit with the goalie and try and figure it out and just buy some time. Anyway, that was a bad challenge by them, and I can understand why people would be like, oh, I don't think it was going to get overturned. Bednar shouldn't have done it, but I just with how they were playing in the game situation, it's fine.
You just never know with those calls either.
It's almost a pseudo timeout, and again, because no one on planet Earth actually knows what goalie interference is, why not try it? Like,
I mean, you can see it either way. Like, you can talk yourself into like, oh, he totally pushed the pad in, and you can also see like, nope, that's
it's a loose puck.
Yeah,
it's a loose puck. He's going for it. Yeah. Totally understand. And it was like I would disallow that because I think that
I would have too. Yeah,
I think the contact is with the pad, and it
clearly pushes him off the post.
And that's the difference between that and the LOC goal against Edmonton is that LOC didn't make substantial contact and certainly didn't move Jack Campbell off of his post.
Yep.
He was swatting at a loose puck in the same way, and his just bounced up over the pad and got lucky. And in this case, that stick moves the pad, and then it goes in. And okay, I get it. So I understood where everybody was coming from, and I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
the jerseys was pretty funny though.
The other one was just obvious, like.
Yeah, as soon as they showed the down the line angle, you were like, that's on side. What are we doing
And
here?
like, even in a world where he wasn't onside, Val wasn't touching the puck anyway when it entered the zone, so it would have been the weird tag up rule situation.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe Jersey's got the old rule book. They don't know that you don't have to have their skate down because
it's
that's
not the plane of the ice
that you can say, and that's not even a rule anymore.
Lindy Ruff isn't young, so either way, 2 things that happened. You get into the second period, and the game just kind of comes apart. AJ, you already said it. When you give up 5, it's a tall mountain to climb.
Yeah, and it was where I think you find the encouragement out of this is that it gets to 5-1, and your team
doesn't just pack it in.
Right, your team and the McKinnon goal, the 5-hole goal is cheap.
So bad.
It's a freebie. It's a bad goal on Vanacek. But the Rantanen goal, it's a great play.
Yeah.
Like, that's your guys. That's just great offense. It's just great generation, great finish. Like, you're not looking at Vanacek. You're not even looking at New Jersey. Like, hey, what'd you do wrong here? You're looking at it. You're just like, that's great offense. It's a great finish from a great player, and
great shot from Compher too on the other.
Yeah, and then the Compher just skates down the ice freely, which that would have been my problem if I'm Jersey.
Sure.
And then that's a great shot beats a goaltender where you're like, okay, these guys are just suddenly wiring pucks out of nowhere. Like, this is kind of messed up. What I don't like is that after that, I mean, that's the one. The sixth goal is the one that I think you really
just can't have it. Yeah.
You really look at Annunen and you're like, dude,
This team was in this.
you can definitely say Sam Girard needs to do more in that net front battle.
For sure, but if Annunen makes the play he's trying to make, it never gets there.
But Annunen, there are 3 failures on that play. Annunen's responsible for number 1 and number 3.
Yep. That's too much.
And if we're being honest here, the situation Sam Girard is in right there is the situation where Sam Girard is at his worst.
Yep.
That is
100%
Sam
true.
Girard is his worst individual skill is battling net front. That's, I mean, when you're 5'8" and 170 pounds wet,
You're just not going to be good at
that's
that.
just
Yeah.
life. You know,
Yeah, it's just positioning, right? And like when you're playing against a bigger guy, he can just stick his ass out, and then he has free stick.
Yep. Gerard's reach isn't that long. It's just the reality of the situation.
yeah,
and
that's just a tough. And I mean, I'd like the other aspect of that is I'd like a little more from Rantanen defensively.
I agree.
understand Ryan Graves. That's good puck protection for Ryan Graves.
but get in that passing lane. Don't.
And the stick on the ice, man. The
Yep.
stick on the because that's the thing that they teach all their guys all the time. They hammer that home with them. Try to break that up a little bit. Because the resistance that he provides is not meaningful. Like Graves has to go around him, but Rantanen never really comes close to disrupting that play.
Yep.
And I think that's where I was wanting a little bit more from him.
Well, that's.
But none of this matters if Annunen has a very standard. Just your paddle is on the ice to prevent this exact thing.
Yep. And then on the back end of it, if he just doesn't lift his pad, it just hits him. The puck doesn't go in the net. And look, I get it. That's a issue on top of a million other issues. If that goal goes in, but the Avs hadn't given up 5 yet, you're in a totally different universe,
Yeah.
right? You don't know what this hockey game looks like.
That being goal number 6 after a team has come back
Right.
to turn it from 5-1 into 5-4. For me, I'm just like,
It just completely crushes all the work you put in to get back.
Well,
in
and
the
it's
game.
crazy too because he's made some huge stops
He did
in between
He
those.
stopped a breakaway.
there's a
immediately.
Cohesive breakaway immediately after the 4th
Yeah,
goal, and
yeah.
he's like, I got this.
Yeah,
but
but then these what you're just talking
right.
about, just horrible.
making the big saves
Mechanics
don't
on it.
matter if you don't make the ones you're supposed to make.
Right, like you don't. For me, like I'm not sitting here pumping a guy's tires. Like, oh, he made some key saves after he gave up 5 goals. You know, like I'm just not gonna do when the 6th goal that he gives up is a failure of basics.
Yep.
It's a breakdown of the fundamentals, and what we see with goaltenders that stay in the NHL for a long time. Obviously, they're very gifted athletically. Obviously, they've got a tremendous size or some combination of them. But fundamentally, NHL goaltenders are unbelievable.
Yeah.
The consistency that they do it. You watch Alexander Georgiev when that guy's on it.
Yep. Well,
I mean, you watch the best in the business too.
I mean, that's if there's as a goaltender, if there is something fundamentally wrong with your game, the tape will be out on you within 3 weeks, and they will just pepper you there until you either fix it or you're out of the league.
Yeah.
Like it's all there is to it.
Well, you want to talk about just like the eye test, right? You look at Georgiev's game; it's solid, it's secure, there's not a lot of movement going on, right? Like it just feels comfortable. And then you look at Annunen's game at the start of it tonight, and it was squirrely, very uncomfortable feeling. Like you can just tell he just doesn't have that presence in net right now.
And look, Annunen is going to go back to the AHL. He's going to continue to develop.
Yep.
And you know, I still believe he can be a decent NHL goaltender.
Sure.
Yeah, this isn't tonight. Should not move anybody any direction on his long-term viability as an NHL netminder. We'll see.
It's just part of the
We'll
development
just-
of a goaltender, and either you rise to it, like okay, now you've been there and got your ass kicked. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do?
Yep.
Are you gonna rise to the next level, or are you gonna let that defeat you?
It's exactly what it is.
Most of those NHL players and AHL players don't have. I'm gonna let it defeat me in them.
Beyond
and let's be real, like this was a tough assignment getting a really good
absolutely.
Devils.
You get a
team.
really good team. The Avs defense. Did anyone on the Avs defense play well tonight?
No.
It was just brutal.
Yeah, I don't have a single Avs defenseman as a guy that I thought was any good tonight.
They got beat along the board so bad all night.
Yep. Even like in behind their own net, they're losing battles.
Yeah.
Like it was just ugly, top to bottom. Devon Taves had 3 shifts in a row where he just like falls over. Like I don't. Even...
There was some weird shit going on there. Yeah, it just and then like the soft exits with this bad passing. It was just
their puck management.
It was really
so
bad.
bad.
It was
so casual, and that's one of those things about the Avalanche that has not been present in their game, and why I'm not super concerned that hey, it happened tonight.
It's not a recurring issue for him.
And this is another reminder of I don't think this was as much the Devils beating the Avs as the Avs opening the door up. Because we saw the pushback. We saw the Avs, and obviously there are score effects when a game is at 5-1, but it was at 5-1 for so little time.
Yeah.
They turned it from 5-1 into 5-4 in just over 2 minutes. And then, like a little bit of credit to Jersey for limiting the quality
back down,
in the third period and resetting at the intermission and okay, hey, we're gonna take this, we gotta not do this. And the goalie change obviously helped.
Yep.
Cool. But I like the pushback. I do. I just like it. I thought it was good and I thought it was meaningful and
despite the poor play, it shows a team that understands they're trying to go out and get it every single night.
Yeah, it's the heart. There's a such thing as a lovable loser for a reason, right?
Yep.
And tonight I thought that so many mistakes that they can clean up, beat themselves a lot. Very, very, very few times this season have I felt like the Avs just got beat by a better team.
Not trying to say New Jersey played well tonight, but if the Avs can play that bad and lose a game by 1 goal and an empty netter, they're going to win a lot of hockey games.
And it does show the difference between that margin of error that they have with this alignment, with this roster, with the talent that they currently have, even with no Cale Makar, no Alexander Georgiev, no Gabe Landeskog. And I know Chad has talked a lot about Josh Manson and the ankle injury at the end. We'll just see.
Yep.
Nobody knows, and I believe there's no practice tomorrow.
It's very likely they don't practice till Friday. Yeah.
So I'm not expecting any update there, but the difference being that their margin of error is larger now because they can do some things to some teams.
Yep. They are healthy enough and have enough talent that on any given night you feel pretty good about them.
Yeah.
Now you'll feel a lot better when Cale Makar drops in.
Sure, and New Jersey will feel a lot better when Timo Meier plays.
Exactly right. So that's kind of is what it is. The ebbs and flows of a hockey season come and go in that regard.
Yeah. And these two teams played 2 really good games against each other this year.
Yeah.
You got a 1-0 game in Jersey.
And then
kind of a sleeper, but at least it was close.
Competitive, yeah.
Yeah, and then the game tonight, which was,
no defense,
chaos.
all gas. Yeah. So it's the way it goes sometimes. We are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. You can go over there. You can bet on whatever you want. If you didn't bet the over tonight, woof. That's all I got to say. Plenty of goals to be scored here in this one. Nathan MacKinnon continues to be free dollars. Bo did get his point tonight for Blaze's bet there, so that cashed. Only one he didn't get was Evan Rodriguez finishing. So.
I got the over real early.
Yeah, got the over 6 minutes into the second period, I think, something like that. So, look, you can bet on whatever you want over at DraftKings. It doesn't have to be the Avs. It can be any hockey team. It can be football. It can be basketball with March Madness coming up. Obviously, that's going to be a big one. With other ridiculous sports, if you want to get into those things, they've got everything under the sun you can imagine, whether it be chess or boxing or chess boxing. All 3 different things I will have you know that you can bet on at DraftKings.
New Creed movie on Friday.
Is it coming out on Friday? I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched any of that series.
What? So good.
I've heard it's really good.
So good.
Look, man, is pretty big Rocky fan. They did right by it. And Michael B. Jordan is.
He's just dope.
I mean, the first one was great. The second one was great too.
Well, the second one I thought was just. We don't have to get into this. I loved both of them. Yeah.
I don't know if you can bet on the outcome of a movie at DraftKings. That might be a bridge too far. Yeah, you can bet on the Oscars. You're right. So
you definitely can't bet on a Rocky movie.
I mean, you can a Rocky movie for sure.
Yeah, you know how it's ended.
You're right. You're right.
The odds would be outrageous.
Yeah, it would be like that screenshot I have of the start of the third period of Game 2 of the Cup final, where the Avs were up 7-0, and it was the Avs had odds. It was like negative 10 million.
That's DraftKings is going to add a button that says donate to DraftKings, and that's going to be the betting on
that'll be betting on
a
Creed.
Rocky movie with a 7 ending.
Either way, go over to DraftKings, use the DNVR code. It must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See the show notes down below for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by the good, awesome, amazing people over at a company called, Shady Rays. I didn't bring our glasses tonight.
Not wearing them for a loss.
Yeah, had the Avs pulled it out, we'd have been wearing them.
I'd have gone down to the car and pulled them out for it.
But they didn't complete the comeback, so the Shady Rays stay away. All right, only gonna wear them for W's, but they are great at what they do. The polarized lenses. What's that?
Sorry, only when the future's bright.
True. Good
if
answer.
You're trying to catch W's. Where are the Rays?
Oh my God!
You missed it, Rudo.
Oh my God! Either way,
everybody's off their game tonight.
Bunch of amazing styles of sunglasses that you can get from Shady Rays. Whatever style you're into, they have a pair for you. Even if you want ski or snowboard goggles, they have those too. So jump in, go get them. You can get them online at shadyrays.com or go to the Park Meadows Mall where they have a physical location. When you use code DNVR at checkout, you get 2 glasses or more. You get 50% off your order. That's a free pair of sunglasses if you're doing the math. Jump on it. Go get some Shady Rays. Go look good out in the sun. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Most interesting moment of the game? Val Nichushkin screaming at Ryan Graves?
Celebrating with Ryan Graves.
Just the whole sequence happens within 2 seconds in real time of he shoots the puck, he cross-checks Graves, he scores, and then he mean mugs the shit out of him. It wasn't quite Allen Iverson stepping over to Ron Blue.
It wasn't that aggressive.
It wasn't quite because the cross-check had already happened.
Yeah.
But not many dudes look down on Ryan Graves very often.
He is a tall guy.
It would have been great if he would have skated over him. Just like over him. Whoa.
If he would have stepped over him and then turned around and been like, Lecky, give me a hug.
If that was the tying goal, maybe.
Yeah.
Still being down 1. Best you're gonna get is the mean mug.
Or a goal in like a cup final game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But boy, was that something just to see that intensity out of him and get it directed so strongly at Ryan Graves.
I think you saw that though on the Compher goal that made it 4-5 too. Those guys were pumped to get the goal back within 1. It's not like they're floating around out there. They were like, no, we're doing this. Mm-hmm. Obviously they came up short, which is unfortunate, but
when you're vibing, you're vibing.
Right.
Man.
You make it work. You make it count. And again, I know it's a weird night. I know the actual underlying play for a lot of this game was just outright bad from Colorado.
It wasn't so much the scoring chance numbers, but it was the high danger chances that really, I think, separated the two teams.
Yep.
I think it ended up being 16-6.
That is a big difference.
16 is a lot to give up. And 6 is a really low number.
Yep.
But I believe, I'll check, but I believe scoring chances were actually
fairly
close.
Even. Yeah. And, some of that here, some of that there. If the Avs don't fall into a hole immediately.
Yeah, it was
the whole
26
game
to
looks
25.
different. Okay, so that's almost exactly even.
Yeah. And it was the first period really bad from Colorado.
Obviously.
The second period bad from Colorado, but better offensively.
Sure.
And then the third period really good from New Jersey.
Yeah.
To keep
limiting
it low
a
event.
lot. Yeah.
Low event both ways.
Sounds about right. Beyond that, special teams tonight. Obviously, the PK does a good job of bailing out the failed challenge.
The Devils had more scoring chances.
Okay, sure. By 1.
28-18.
Okay. I mean, that's still not terrible, but not good.
Built on a 13-4 first period.
So they had
Otherwise, even
they
after
had
that.
15 through the rest of the game, and the Avs had 14. Yeah.
But 16-6 for high danger,
Yeah,
and 15 of those were in periods 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it was defensively. It was as you thought. Defensively, it was bad from the Avalanche.
Yep. Special teams.
There.
Penalty kill. Good job of bailing the Avs out of the challenge. Power play. Not as good.
Right after the goalie change.
And it's
tough.
Teams have bad power plays. They had one on the night. I'm not necessarily faulting their special teams as being a problem here, but it is hard when you watch that momentum hit a brick wall after you make it a 1-goal game, and your power play kind of hurt you in that regard to me.
The other part there too, right, is like they changed the goalie.
Yep.
You've got a fresh goalie in. You should be out there. You're on the power play. You should be peppering pucks at this goalie right away.
Yep.
Taking away confidence. Instead, give him a nice slow warm up with 2 shots. And I believe, was it just 2 shots?
Yeah, and one of them was like a nothing wrister.
Yeah. I mean, you want to take advantage of that goalie while he's still cold.
Yeah, and then what I would like to see is a little more movement with the puck, and not just McKinnon to Byram and McKinnon to Byram, and then back to Rantanen. I would like to actually see a little more movement and
someone cut to the net or something.
Well, the different times that we've seen them move Nathan MacKinnon around as the chess
he
piece.
drags people to him.
Yeah, he has such gravity to him that I don't understand why they're so comfortable with him over there in a static spot all the time. When he moves around, you see him get opportunities. He scored a number of goals over the last couple of years when they have moved him, and they kind of keep him on the run. It seems like they settle into this thing where they're like, all right, here's our traditional, and it makes it easier for the other teams to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because all that sense of urgency and everything, it feels like they're like, okay, we'll just tone it down. We'll play patient. We'll play smart. We'll wait for the right goal. We'll try and make the perfect play. Instead of having a sense of urgency, moving it quickly, putting some pressure on the defense, and putting some pressure on an opposing goaltender to make him track a puck.
Yeah.
Make him have to go, especially a fresh goaltender. It's not just seeing shots, but have him like actually have to like look around and fight through screens and work to do his job. The Avs didn't do any of that to him.
Are you saying
he came in and they were just like, okay, well, we'll make this easy on you.
the Avs kind of have like a static power play too, right? Like there's not a lot of movement in
Just
the
in
power play
general,
itself. It's
yeah.
more like hit your mark, be there, move to this mark, be there, instead of like what you're saying, which is maybe have some movement, some guys switching positions.
Needs a little flow for
yeah,
sure.
just, yeah, try to open some stuff a little bit more than instead of just like brute force, make some passes, slap shot from the corner.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to necessarily be McKinnon. I think when it's at its best, you see Leckie does a really good job of, he's down low, he circles out high, he cuts back into the middle. Just force the other team to skate a little bit. Create some space for yourself.
It is where again the lack of Gabe Landeskog hurts them, because one, he tips pucks better than anybody on the Avs. But two, he's also such a sublime passer at times that his playmaking, when he flares out down low, he's a different kind of passer than Nichushkin and Lehkonen, who are fine. They're not like
But
bad
they're not
at
that
it.
level.
Yeah, but Landeskog is a consistent playmaker throughout his career. Has always had good assist numbers.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. That's a guy that he can draw attention away, and it's where it does hurt them. But that can't continue to be like, oh, well, without Landeskog. Like, I'm sorry, but you have Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon. You have two of the top 15 players in the world still.
We already talked him up enough tonight, but king of the game is, in fact, Nathan MacKinnon once again. 2-goal night, played a ton. Again, people talk a lot about the engine of a hockey team. I don't think it's ever been more clear than this year with Nathan MacKinnon being the engine of this hockey team.
Dude, he blew some ankles off dudes tonight.
He made Dougie Hamilton look like it was learned to skate, man.
It wasn't some schmuck back there either. That was
the inside, that okie doke that he gave Dougie Hamilton, and Dougie was just like, what? Where did he go? It was just so weird because you don't ever expect anybody to do that to Dougie, but it was so bad from McKinnon. Like, he did it to it. It was awesome.
It wasn't like he got a half step on him. He just
flew right past him. Yeah.
He girl bite him. Like, it was dismissed.
We are also brought to you by Game Time. You can go on to Game Time, use the link down in the description to get your tickets to Avs games or any other event here in Colorado or across the country. You use them, you can get prices up to 60% off, so it's a ridiculously good deal. When you use the link, it helps us out a little bit too. See, that's the commercial that played for me now just a second ago too. When you go in there, you can select your tickets. It'll show you where your seat is. Again, Ball Arena, that's fine. You don't need that, but a lot of other rinks around the league, you make sure you're not getting a bad seat, all right? So check them out. Go to Game Time. Use the link. You're all set. Looks like we have one super chat to get to.
That drop pass is not going anywhere with Nathan MacKinnon in Colorado.
No kidding. Yeah. $5 from Melanie, who says, major bummer, let's go Avalanche, let it go and win this weekend. And that's the good way to end it off, because the Avs beat Dallas on Saturday. Big chilling.
I want to talk about one last thing here.
Sure.
Because we did not get to it, and it's something I really wanted to touch on. But as much as we talked the other day about, hey, you beat Vegas in this head-to-head, this should be inspiration to the front office to go get another guy, to go get some help, right? I don't think any of us sitting in this room right now feel like they should be done.
That was before this game happened, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before, after,
right now. Nothing has changed on that front.
Friday.
But tonight, I think, is a good example of why we feel this way, because a team in New Jersey that has a really good top six, and guess what? Teams that make the playoffs tend to be pretty good. JT Compher gets his head kicked in.
Yeah.
Now he has the great goal, just a good individual effort, right? But gets his head kicked in.
Yep.
Head to head.
Possession-wise, just completely dunked.
And this is a thing that has been against good teams.
Fairly common, yeah.
Has been a struggle for them that JT Compher cannot handle that matchup. And he's got Val Nichushkin and Mikko Rantanen for a lot of those games. Today it was a little different.
Took some shifts up there.
Yeah, with Alex Newhook. So it was a little bit different, but it was a good reminder that JT Compher just may not be cut out to handle a full-time, hard 2C job with him having to take on that matchup. I mean, chat brings up immediately the Max Domi name, where I think that's the obvious name that sits there.
Yep. As
a pending UFA, as a guy who's been a 1C this year and been good.
Yep.
But you do that, and how much better do you feel if your center depth goes from Nathan MacKinnon, JT Compher? You're not entirely sure how the bottom six
You're
plays
sorting
out
out Lars Eller
and somebody to Nathan MacKinnon, Max Domi, JT Compher, and Lars Eller 1 through 4. All of a sudden, you're feeling really, really good
about that.
You're just that much better, and it's not so much that you got a player that's that much better than JT, but that you put JT in a role just a little more.
And even like in a world where all of a sudden JT figures it out and is capable of doing that 2C job, now Max Domi's your 3C. Oh no, it's such a horrible fate.
And you can, and on nights where guys are feeling it, and you have a
them up
guy
and down.
going,
Exactly,
they can be more interchangeable.
Yep.
Instead of right now, it's kind of a ride or die, because Evan Rodriguez's play has cratered since the All-Star game.
Yep.
To the point where he can't be given that job.
No.
Alex Newhook, I don't think any of us have any strong problems with this play, but has not
He's
taken,
just not there yet.
has
Yeah.
not demanded that he get that job and move into that role, right?
Yep.
And so you're looking, and I know Chris McFarland the other day said he felt like he has options there internally, but I just disagree with the man, because the other option there is Mikko Rantanen, and we've seen him play a passable 2C, but the guy is a world-class right wing.
Given how he's played this year, why would you want to mess with that?
Yeah.
So we'll see. The
And
Avs,
that's where tonight you can still look at this and say, all right, against a good team where their strength is their forward core,
Yep.
we still had a problem here because that second line got bopped tonight.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they end up on the right side of this. They score 2 and they give up 1. But in terms of the creation of quality of and all that stuff, just bodied.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the concern continues to be. And if they don't make another move to address that position, that is the number one concern going into the postseason for me.
Well, they've got a little bit over 36 hours to get it sorted out.
You want to know what's just, and I'm going to finish here. They have basically 36 points in the West that they can go get after tonight's game.
Yep.
10 points in the East.
Yep.
16 of those points in the West are against Pacific teams.
Pacific's pretty bad.
3 of them are against San Jose because they haven't touched them yet.
And that's a team that
2
is
of them are against Anaheim.
Ed, AJ mentioned this earlier about Arizona, but Anaheim and San Jose are teams that are going full nuke tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting all these teams post deadline when they have
Literally a bunch of
nuked their
dudes
rosters.
you don't
Yeah.
know in their lineup. Yeah.
3 games against Arizona. I mean,
There's a lot of points out there for
a
Colorado.
lot of points.
Yeah, they have. I was looking at it a fantasy breakdown. They even have the Avs with the easiest schedule remaining.
Yep. Now this last stretch this weekend is kind of the last tough part of their schedule.
Yeah, and they have like the Canadian trip. You
Yeah,
know, Montreal,
sure.
Toronto, Ottawa on a back-to-back
Yep.
could be.
Could be tough. You still have a game against Pittsburgh left in there. It's not like it's total free roll, but compared to the front half of their schedule, this is significantly easier.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all turns out. You know, you can keep everything Avs here at the DNVR. We'll be live tomorrow talking about the ridiculous number of trades and begging the NHL to stop making them so we can do something on Friday.
Please.
And then we'll be live like all day Friday as we usually are for our trade deadline and chill stream. So join us for that stuff. If you haven't watched it, we have 9 targets out so far for the Avs on our website.
It should be 8.
It's actually 7 because Domi's going up tomorrow morning.
Okay, that should be the last one.
Yeah, so that'll be 8.
Yeah. We had to cancel O'Reilly and Taves.
Yeah, those ones happened before we could get them out there. So is what it is. You can go watch those if you want ideas. One of them's Jack Johnson, so we already got that one right, I guess. But we appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we'll talk to you later.